Hey Thomas, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you
Hey
guys?
Gwen, doing great.
Hey,
I
Yeah,
hear Gwen's in the land of the storms tonight.
it is coming down. Yes.
she's got
So it's
Illinois noise going on out there outside her window at all the thunder and lightning.
I do.
yeah,
It's
it's
I
a
think it's
dark and stormy night. We're
Spooky.
talking about serial killer Bryan
Yes.
Kohberger.
Nice.
That guy. Oh my gosh. I say that every time about the serial killers, but no, this one's particularly disturbing.
Yeah.
Um, there's no abuse.
Yeah. There-
He wasn't he was his own worst enemy for the most part, right?
yeah, I think so. Really, you got to really look at childhood. We always look at childhood. We got to look at patterns. When somebody murders, you could go back and be that Monday quarterback and say, oh, this, and this. But anybody could do that. That's biased. To be unbiased, you have to look at patterns of just killers and similarities and all that. But with him, yeah, there really wasn't any home abuse, but more from his fellow students.
Right.
Him growing up, he was bullied a lot because he was overweight. He was up to like 300 pounds. Believe it or not, looking at that picture, he looks very thin. But he was at 300 pounds, and they relentlessly would mess with this guy. He was so quiet and reserved because I guess he was so afraid. But he decided, at that time, his depression, he ended up starting to take heroin. So you have that drug abuse. But
Yeah, he took
finally,
heroin. He's a
yeah,
heroin addict.
exactly.
He lost 100 pounds before his senior year, so
Yeah,
he addressed his health problem and lack of personal care.
yeah,
But then he started showing some real problems mentally.
yeah. But that's the whole thing is when you're bullied and all that, you have that mentality, you have weakness. And he made a conscious decision, to became a vegan, lost all that weight and all that. But the crazy thing is about that switch. Most people that are bullied, when they do get in shape and they do look better as they get older, they're more of an advocate. They do show empathy, but he decided not to. There's no empathy with him. He
None.
decided, okay, I'm good looking now. No, I'm going to be the alpha male. So all these people that, bullied me, now I'm going to be the bully. I'm taking
Yeah,
over
he
and
started
all that.
he started putting his friends in headlocks
Yep.
and just being real. And all of his friends said, this dude is weird. He's gotten really weird. And the heroin addiction, I really feel like that was a big problem for him. I think that changed his personality. Hey, Stacia, Raven.
Hey,
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 Raven,
Raven.
hope you're feeling better. So,
I hope so. She's
yeah,
been keeping us updated on social media.
good.
And she's had some challenges. Raven, put yourself on the prayer list I started on my Facebook
Yeah,
wall because a
yeah.
bunch of us are all going
Yes.
to be praying and praying. And I'm just saying that's how things get done. I
Yeah.
don't care who you pray into or how you pray. You could stand on your
That's
head and eat
true.
a bug. But send out the best for your friends and family, you know? That's all I'm asking.
Everybody needs it. Raven needs it. Our other
Mwah.
co-host,
We love you,
Blaine,
Raven.
Blaine, our other co-host,
Yes,
needs
please
it
pray
quite a
for
bit. So, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
just
Blaine needs it
that's
a
life.
lot.
That's life. We're talking about another thing that lives were taken, and they're taken too soon. But just back to this guy and how he became that way. But he was socially awkward, to the point where he didn't. He would try and date women and then say something really awkward, and then they just ghost him. So he never really had those relationships. What's up, buddy? So Blaine, while
Hey,
you're
it.
watching,
Hey, but
baby.
Blaine,
we
while you're
love
watching, if you
you.
know a good hashtag, make sure you put it in the chat. So if you hear anything tonight, we need those hashtags from you.
Please.
Uh,
Yes, we do. He's the one, man.
yeah, he's the number one hashtagger. So
Yeah.
yeah, we need that. But
And Raven, I know you're
Aw.
still in that hospital and you've had
yeah,
a lot of fluid drained off.
Yep.
Do what the doctors say and try to be a good patient. I suck at being a patient,
Yeah.
as Gwen well knows.
She does.
That's
Yes, she does.
that's my dad joke. That's my good dad joke. I always say I have no patience. That's why I'm not a doctor. So I got to have some dumb dad jokes, you know. So you always got to have those. But no, I really think, you know, as we go along, you know, we don't talk about the victims a lot. You know, we have the little thing about Kohberger up to this point, but the victims, that was heartbreaking. I was watching a documentary about them
Oh,
and
it's
how they all
horrible.
came together to live on that house on 1122 King Road, one of those off-campus housing at the University of Idaho. But if you want to go back, two of the roommates, Madison Milligan and Kaylee Gonzalez, they grew up together. They were best friends growing up together, very close at different points of their life when they were at college, because I think Kaylee was a little more advanced. I think she already had something, but still, you know, living at the house. Madison, of course, was there, and one of the key points, she worked at a restaurant, you know, to make some extra money called the Mad Greek Restaurant. So we'll keep that in mind. Other people there, the woman that, or the girl that really kind of was the main person of the house that originally had it, her name was Xana Kernoodle.
Yeah.
She liked to joke and say, you know, hey, if you can't know how to say my name, it's Xanax without the X. That was the way she would say it. But it's kind of funny. She was very, you know, that humorous type of person. And, you know, she ended up meeting Ethan Chapin. Now, Ethan, that's a story right there. His brother and sister also went to the University of Idaho. And what makes it unique is they were triplets. So when you have that connection like that, that makes it even more. You know, I like to talk about the victims and just that relationship and how heartbreaking it is that some crazy maniac would take that away from, you know, their families, their parents, you know,
And
and
it was
anybody
random.
attached to them. It
Who
actually,
didn't know
they
those
think it
people?
might have been targeted.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to try
Because
and
of their
figure out. Random, targeted. Really, it had to have been targeted, but really, we have to go back and we have to look at you know, Kohberger again. Again, we're looking at a guy that was growing up overweight. He was just basically abused by his fellow students. Couldn't get a girlfriend. You know, they'd always ghost him. So you think about that. You start getting into that mode. And the big mode that I wanted to talk about was, so he goes off to college. I guess he worked as a security guy for a while. And it's weird as we talk about all these serial killers, like we'll talk about Edmund Kemper, who became very friendly, wanted to be a law enforcement officer. There's other people we'll probably talk about in the future, like the Hillside Stranglers and all that. They were both pretending to be police officers and wanted to hang out with them. One did a ride along with a police officer as he was killing people. So these are crazy things. You know, it seems to be that a lot of serial killers, when they don't have power growing up, they gravitate towards these jobs of what they perceive as power, to get that power back, to have that alpha. And really, Kohberger was in that alpha mode after he lost all that weight. So that's the mindset we're going to think about. Does it turn him violent? Not everybody turns violent, but again, it's that the pattern, and it's that thing that makes that screw go loose that we still try to figure out. But you know, with that, I think the Xana Kernoodle, the other one, she worked at the same restaurant as Madison, the Mad Greek. And the reason why I keep saying that, yeah. So she worked part-time. So two of them worked there. Now, you know, you really got to look at the point that when they started investigating, ping this guy's phone was pinged, I think it's like 25 times right near the house, like before the murder. So when they were doing all this stuff. So he was basically, you know, he was trying to find out everything about them, their schedules, when they came home, what they were doing and all that. There was some kind of attachment. And come to find out, this guy was a regular at the Mad Greek. But they really, doing research, they really put that, why didn't they put that together or talk about that more is what bothers me. Because you think about it, this guy, women, they try and date him, but he's just too weird and they ghost him and all that. And there's also evidence that he DM'd one of the victims, but they wouldn't say which one it was as I was doing my research. Now, you think about it, if he's freaking this restaurant and he sees them two, good-looking girls and all that.
Can you guys? I don't know if you can see this, but I wish I had downloaded
I've
it.
got a whole video.
Have you?
For it, yeah.
See
So everybody will be able to see them.
They're having fun and enjoying life, and then look what happens.
Yeah, but you really look at it.
And he was dating one of the girls, so he was not Kohberger, the guy that's in the picture. That was a victim. He was dating one of the young ladies.
Yeah, Ethan Chapin was dating Xana Kernodle. They were in the room together when they were both killed. But back to the restaurant. You think about it. This guy is so upset about women that just, blow him off. And he's building up, he's trying to be an alpha male now. And he's building up that. Now, who's to say that he frequents this restaurant, probably tries to flirt with him all the time. And they pretty much say he's a creepy guy because a lot of the people at the college that he was at trying to get his PhD in criminology after getting a degree in psychology as he was coming up. So he was really diving into what he wanted to do stemming from his time as a security officer. But what bothers me is a lot of times he was very misogynistic to a lot of the female professors to the point where he almost was about to be removed from his position. So there was a lot of that going on. Yeah.
He was a know-it-all when it came to academics, and I was reading on it. He also had 3 mental disorders, which I found interesting. He has, he's on the autism spectrum, so he has autism spectrum disorder. He's OCD, and severely so.
Yeah.
Then he has a developmental coordination disorder.
Yeah.
So, do you feel that his obsession, as it's been called, with criminal minds, criminology in general, since he was getting his PhD, do you feel that it percolated in his brain because he was having trouble mentally?
I think a lot of it is when he did write papers, a lot of the professors, when they look back on it and what he was writing, there was a big thing about him talking about stabbing somebody and how personal it is. It is a personal thing. You're up close and personal is what they call it when you stab somebody. So it takes a lot psychologically. There's a connection there. It becomes, most times people stab somebody, there is that personal connection or that personal release psychologically. That's why some people, they cut themselves to release pain, as opposed to maybe somebody that's a killer stabs somebody to release that pain that they have within themselves. It's similar in a way, but not, of course, as violent, still cutting yourself, but actually stabbing somebody. It's the point you hurt yourself or you hurt somebody else with that up close and personal. But the other part of that is, with Kohberger, he did have some physical stuff. He had tinnitus, and then he had the visual snow syndrome. If you ever heard of that?
Yes.
Where your vision always has the little black dots coming around, where it looks like it's like the staticky television. Yeah. So that weighs on your mind. And if he, personally, if you're on the autism spectrum, it doesn't mean you're going to become a killer or be violent. But also having the OCD, when you have that obsession and you obsess about something so much, that could turn into something violent as it climbs. But I think
the developmental coordination disorder actually affected him more as a child. But basically, he was real clumsy and walked, kind of robotic. Yeah. His gross motor skills, like running or jumping or riding a bike, that would be a problem for him. He even had hand-eye coordination, such as, like having trouble writing or problems using utensils or manipulating small objects. So I'm wondering if maybe his obsession with the criminal mind,
Yeah.
his anger and mental disorder for the heroin addiction that he's, so he's not thinking clearly.
Yeah.
He's obsessive compulsive about criminology.
Yeah.
He's mad at beautiful people because they've all ignored him.
Yeah.
And the physical challenge of being able to overcome all those people after having problems with his motor skills, this was like his Olympics here. He really wanted to try this. He wanted to do this. And these
Now,
poor people, oh my God.
so let's get to one of the big papers that he did, that he was really obsessed with one killer that he wrote papers on. It's very similar to him and how he felt about himself. Elliot Rogers, the Vista killer. Now, Elliot Rogers in war became this hero to guys like Kohberger that had problem with females, became misogynistic, where they became what they call incels. Now, INCL, like, forced celibate, because no women would have sex with them. It's forced because nobody will have sex with them. So they become angry at females, become misogynistic, say the things here and there, and that's what it comes in. This Elliot Rogers became known as the first incel killer, and I think with him writing a paper that in depth about it and becoming obsessed with him, that says a lot, because it's very similar to what he was going through. He couldn't get any females to like him. They would ghost him because of his awkwardness. And just look at the guy's picture. If you guys watched him in court, that stare that he had, just imagine that guy staring at you, how creeped out you would feel.
Oh my
You know?
God. I can't imagine him attacking me in that face and what it
Yeah.
mania in his eyes because
Yeah.
of the OCD.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And what it must have looked like. And
It's
you
crap.
told he had the fight of his life.
Yeah.
And he was so brutal.
Yeah.
Now,
Strangulating.
am I reading this right? That he did all this in like 25, 30 minutes?
Yes.
It was a complete frenzy. I don't know how
Yeah.
he did. Let me
He
play the
planned
video
it
real
all
quick.
out. He planned it all out like a bank robbery,
He brought the
This
weapon.
time I'm gonna do
That's
this.
why everybody says that it's premeditated,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
play it, Lee. Let's look.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Okay.
Tom, I am going to leave my microphone open and I'll switch to you back and forth if I need to play it twice. A lot of stuff you've already covered.
Yeah.
But
It's
you'll
good
see
to cover,
the
it's good
end.
to cover it again so everybody really understands what we're getting to on this and how we're breaking the mind down and how this might have happened.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so this is Bryan Kohberger, soon to be PhD. He was known for the Idaho murders, and Reddit calls him the careless killer. He was raised in Pennsylvania. His dad was a maintenance worker, and his mom was a special needs assistant teacher. His sister became a therapist. And, he was overweight. He lost 100 pounds by the time he was a senior. And that's when he started doing heroin and where he started getting physical. He also was a school guard. He finished high school, went on to become work on his PhD. He was diagnosed with visual snow syndrome. He had mental health struggles, but the judge says that it does not him. Shell media frenzy. Look at those beautiful girls and that young man. Tom's been talking about them. 21 and 20 years old. And he was getting his PhD in criminology. All right. He was charged with 4 counts of murder and burglary. And he was so stupid. His cell phone pinged. His white Elantra was caught on surveillance, and the murder weapon had his DNA on it. And then he said he did it. He admitted it, wrote a confession letter. The paranormal echoes with this. There's a feeling of dread and unease. A lot of people are saying that the house is not able to be lived in. He had a deep obsession with power and control. The friends of the victims talked about them being so loving. So true crime meets the supernatural is when the brutality of act is rooted in psychology. So there, Tom, I put your name right there. Official motive, behavior, clues, and impact.
Yep.
Emotional impact. So, his mother taught special ed.
Yeah. She
He
was a
had problems.
paraprofessional.
Yeah.
That's an important part where you help the teacher out. So you're really the more observant one of watching the class or working with students individually. And then the fact that his sister was a therapist. A lot of people, they gravitate towards certain jobs of how they are brought up. And him wanting to be law enforcement, sister being a therapist. So there's a lot of things going on of wanting to help. But, oh man, I tell you, the big thing is another big thing when he was younger, he was very online a lot, but he never put his real name online. But as they go back and look at things, when he was 16, this is a quote that he had about himself. This really said how depressed he was and where he was at during that exchange between being overweight and then, taking care of things. About 16, I think it was. He says, I feel like an organic sack of meat with no self-worth. And that's from Kohberger. So that's the way he felt about himself. I think before he made that alpha change in between that 16 depression, doing heroin and all that. But that's what happens. These young kids that were killed grew up with good families, happy-go-lucky, working, getting their degrees, no care in the world, all in like fraternities, sororities, just living the college life. Not doing anything bad, just doing what all college kids do, just trying to make it. While this guy is developing into, I'm going to tell you, I think with him murdering those 4 kids, he left behind the knife sheath. They found that he bought a K-bar knife, had a sheath on it. That was dropped, and that's where they found his DNA. But the thing is I think if they didn't capture him, I think he would have went on to be a serial killer. I mean, there would have been more things that would happen because how he was developing.
Yeah, he was thrilled, I'm sure.
Well, he was, because when he killed, he got back to where he was living, took a selfie of himself, called his mother up, talked to his mother for like 2 hours. I don't know what the hell they talked about, but there was that other part of his ADHD, his obsession and all those other things was if his mother didn't answer the phone, he would call over and over and over and over and over again until she would answer.
Wow.
Same thing with his dad. And then he talked for hours with him. And it just, those things of not taking, no for an answer is kind
So,
of that obsession.
Blaine has as a hashtag.
Okay, good. What does he got?
Blaine, you are the best of this, man.
Oh my God. Can't get none.
Can't get
Bryan Kohberger, are you mad because you can't get none?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my God. That's good. Forced celibacy. Yeah, but there's just so much with this guy. He's like an onion. There's not been enough time with him yet. I think there's more stuff that's going to come out. Unfortunately for the family, he pled guilty, which means he didn't have to go on the stand or explain himself. So the guy that knows everything supposedly about criminology and the criminal mind decides not to say anything, which is weird because being an alpha supposedly, but they must have really had to push him. But I guess in the long run, he was afraid to be put to death, I guess, and that's going to catch up to him, which it already is. I know it's just been in the news, and I know, he got convicted to 4 life sentences, burglary charge, restitution of something like $275,000. But the great thing about it for the families, even though they didn't get, what they wanted, the inmates are doing them a favor. So the prison he's at right now, he's getting the Shawshank Redemption treatment. When you first get into prison, you're in Shawshank, and you're like, oh, new fish, fish, fish. And they would just yell your name out all night to see which one's going to lose it first.
Yeah.
So every night through the little air ducts, they're just saying his name, and they're screwing with him. He's complaining to the guards. The guards aren't doing anything about it. What are they going to do? People are just going to keep talking. So they're driving him crazy, won't let him sleep.
They can't find him.
Yeah. Well, even though he wasn't really a sleeper to begin with, because they say he drove around at all hours, really never slept. So I think it's part of his obsessions and things like that. But yeah, like they said.
So everybody knows, okay, he is serving 4 life sentences. He did change his plea to guilty, and so therefore he is not going to be put to death.
Yeah.
But he said that he killed him. He admitted it, and then he said, I also acknowledge the burglary charge. But Kohberger is confined in a single cell in the prison's J block.
Yeah.
Okay. In Idaho Maximum Security Institution in Kuna, Idaho. So if everybody wants to write him and tell him what a douchebag he is, that's where you send the letters.
Hashtag douchebag.
Hashtag
douchebag letter.
Douchebag letter. He's got ongoing psychological distress due to harassment from his fellow inmates.
Oh, poor baby.
Inmates have been taunting him through the ventilation system of his cell, disrupting his sleep, contributing to his mental strain. While the Idaho Department of Correction acknowledged these complaints, they assert that inmate communications are common and that he's not at risk. So what do you do?
Yeah.
Again, he is at the Idaho Maximum Security Institution in Kuna, Idaho, and J cell block. J for jerk.
Wait, hold on. Let me lick my pencil.
Everybody, let's all write him.
Wait, lick my pencil. Get ready to write. Dear douchebag.
Yeah.
I tell you, it just bothers me. Like I said, I watched a documentary about the victims and all that, and this again, guys, what we talk about, what to look out for. In this situation, we just blow out. You're in college. These people come in and out, dorms, having parties. It was Greek week, I guess. He decided he wanted to do the murders at Halloween, but there was such a police presence because of Halloween, he decided not to. So it's more of a Greek week with November going into Thanksgiving break. He planned it out. He knew exactly what he was going to do. From what happened was he went directly to the 3rd floor where Madison and Kaylee were, killed them first. They didn't say what happened to Madison, but more Kaylee was stabbed over 20 times. Okay. This is where I'm starting to pinpoint. Maybe she was the one he was DMing because of the 20 times. And I think between Madison working at the Mad Greek and Zana working at the Mad Greek, she was up, and Ethan and her were killed next. They were on the 2nd floor. Now, Zana had over 50 stab wounds on her. So when you look at that, that's more of the more I think his anger was geared towards her and Kaylee somehow. So I know they didn't say who was DM'd by him or might have had a run-in, but to me it sounds like the 20 times there, but Zana sounds more like she was the prime person of the house. They had other roommates. There was the woman, Dylan, and then there was Bethany. They're the ones that survived. I think one of them ran into him. He just walked right by her. He was dressed all in dark, but she didn't really think anything of it at the time. It kind of freaked her out. She couldn't think. She goes, well, everybody was out partying. Who came back with them? They don't know. Wasn't somebody part of the group. you know, but really, when she walked by and saw, I think she saw Zana like laying on the ground and thought she just passed out drunk. Really didn't see any of the blood. I guess probably
Right.
because of the darkness of the house at the time. You know, it wasn't until the morning that, you know, the kids started coming over, and 911 wasn't called till much later because everybody was just confused about what was going on, what happened. And finally, when the cops get there, they found them all deceased, and really there was no word going out, to the point where one of the parents, I think Madison's parents, were called and said, "Oh yeah, there's, you know, police presence and all that on the street," and they started driving to the college thinking, well, they knew two people were dead. They didn't think their daughter was dead. They didn't know yet. They knew Zana and Ethan were dead, but they didn't know the other two. They thought they were still alive. They were just going to go have lunch and help them try and get over this, and then realized they were both
Oh, no.
deceased. There wasn't a lot of communication at the time between the police and the kids. I know they're probably going to want to interview them first before they say anything, which makes sense. But you know, it's just the craziness of what was going on in the chain of events, and how he went in, hit the third floor, came down to the second floor. I think the people on the first floor, the reason why he walked by him, she wasn't part of, I think, his obsession. I think it was more geared towards those two girls, and the other two people in the room were just maybe, you know, just collateral damage. I hate to say it that way. What's up, buddy? The legend, Kenneth Drake himself. So,
Yeah.
but really, that's what you got to look at,
And
because
thank you
20
for
times
watching.
and 50 times were the
To
most
think
stabbables.
about it, in my head, I'm going, all this happened in like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And how did he, I mean, that takes a lot out of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
That's
was
a lot
on
of
something.
energy.
He
That's a
was
lot of
cranked up
experience.
on something.
Yeah.
Now, let's don't
Three.
forget about the beautiful victims, but
Mhm.
there's two more. I'm
Yeah.
going to show you the picture. Does she not look like him in a dress?
Yeah.
That's his sister. Looks
Yeah.
like Bryan Kohberger in a dress.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she is a counselor.
Yeah.
And just like Kohberger being a school guard,
Yeah.
and now he's a murderer, you know, she is a therapist. And it makes you wonder, huh?
Yeah.
Is she a therapist because she needed therapy? I mean, is she doing the same thing? But the mother, she's so distraught. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Hmm.
And he completely ignores them when he's in court.
Yeah.
He could care less about what, and they haven't done anything wrong to him.
No, but they're women.
True.
His downfall was coming to women when he really got out to that point and studied this Elliot Rogers guy. To the point is, a lot of people don't know is, in our day and age with murders, unsolved murders and all that, so everybody's a detective online. So
Yes.
all these like chat rooms and some of these, you know, a lot of us are psychic mediums and all that. There's really good ones, and then there's ones that aren't good, and they start giving bad information and create problems with some of these cases, and give some of us that are good at this a bad name on the supernatural side of things. But he, because of his obsession with Elliot Rogers, there was a person chiming in online that knew everything about the murder, and he went by the online name Papa Roger. So this is before Kohberger was arrested. He was giving a lot of details as they looked at this, and police started wanting to look into it. And, you know, that's when Kohberger was captured because of DNA. But again, DNA coming to the rescue. Remember, how did they find out? Because they have to have his DNA. So how did they get it? So tell them about that, Lee, how they got his DNA.
Yeah, it was like a 23andMe type thing.
Yeah.
They had to have something, and they were able
Mhm.
to get the father's DNA out of trash.
Yeah.
And then they were able to search around trying to find, you know, his DNA and everything. And so there it was on 23andMe. So therefore they can prove that is his father.
Yeah.
And thereby now they know the markers they're looking for on the knife sheath.
Yeah.
And kaboom.
Yeah, that came
One
together.
and one is two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't say 23andMe. I don't know if that was it or not, but it could have been ancestry.
The similarity how they used it, there was legalities of which things they could use and all that. That's
Yeah.
up in the court system that made precedent and all that. a lot of the precedent came off of the case with James D'Angelo, who, you know, was an old man by the time they captured him. He was the Golden
Yes,
State
Lord.
Killer
We
police
need to do
officer.
him too.
Yeah, so they caught him that way, and now they're catching a lot of these guys that way, just with that familiar DNA, which is a big thing. But you know, once he killed them, like I said, took a selfie, called his mom, got in the car to go home for Thanksgiving.
Psychopathy.
On the way home, a lot of people don't know he was pulled over twice, following too close.
Did they not
Twice.
see blood on him? Surely to God.
Well, no, I think he was already cleaned up by then, but you know, they're tracking his phone and they tracked it to a certain distance where they lost it. But you know, he lived in the Poconos area of Pennsylvania. That's where he grew
It's
up.
true.
So that's pretty much when they found the DNA, they pretty much scoped out the parents' house, waiting for him to show up to arrest him. So
Well,
you
that's
know,
why they call him the careless murderer. I
yeah.
mean, he knew how to. He could have done better.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is a lot of people, a lot of these serial killers, when you really look at their history, their first kills are very awkward. They're trying to find their permanent MO. So they make a lot of mistakes. And a lot of times they're not captured. But nowadays, this is old days, but nowadays with what they have with DNA, with cameras, pinging your phone, all these new
Yeah.
state-of-the-art stuff that were like, oh, great, I have a phone. Oh, great, cameras and all that. But if you're a murderer, guess what? It's going to be a lot easier to catch you now with that type of evidence, you know, to the point where his phone was pinged multiple times going by the house, knowing that he was scoping it out, pinging his phone to show where he was. You know, he
His
was at that
Elantra was caught
restaurant a
on
lot.
surveillance.
Yeah. So,
Oh yeah.
and followed him all the way back to Pennsylvania. So, and so they knew he was there, and you know, the DNA, and he dropped his knife sheath, which he probably wasn't used to having that sheath on him because he bought the K-bar knife just, I think, for the particular reason of killing those, you know, 4 young kids. But he probably wasn't used to carrying that around. He just wanted this, you know, these famous knives that the Navy SEALs would use, and you know, the military knife. And I think it was, you know, he felt like that knife
Vendetta.
gave him more power because of
Vendetta.
its history of the knife and what it was used for. The old frogmen would use it. You know, a lot of them would use it because
I
it
wonder if
was.
he put it in his teeth when he was running or
I
something,
know,
just
like,
to have that extra
yeah,
drama, you know?
I know. But a lot of people use that
Hmm.
knife. Reason being, a lot of military people use it because it's you could blacken it where if somebody puts light on it, it's not going to
It doesn't
sheen like a
reflect.
regular knife. So that's why it's
Yeah.
used military style a lot with the K-bars.
Oh,
And
I
plus,
have one. Matt
yeah,
has got more than one.
yeah,
So
yeah. It is. It's a solid knife. It's like a good firearm that you have. It feels part of you, and but I don't think he really knew. He just wanted, I think, to get it because of the history of him, the power of it, what his mind frame probably was at the time. You know, I'm going to have the best thing if I'm going to do this murder, this whatever I'm planning. So that's the state of mind that I think he was in. You know, just crazy. So how this all unfolded.
Mm.
But,
it is,
yeah, crazy.
it's sickening. I mean,
It is very sick.
him being fumbly and uncoordinated, and
Yeah.
you know, yes, I'm talking to Thomas.
Oh, it's her show. Hey, Nuna.
Oh, there's Luna.
Hey, girly.
Luna had to make her appearance.
Oh yeah.
She was
She was
fashionably
asleep,
late.
and
Fashionably
she
late.
heard your voice and
Yeah.
looked up at me like, let me see, let me
You
see.
see, yeah. Such a good girl.
She's a monkey.
Yeah.
Jen's still asleep. when I
Kathy
pulled
said
her up.
precious. Yes, she is,
Yeah.
Kathy.
Thank
She
you,
is precious.
Kathy. She's a mess.
Yeah. But yeah, you know,
Well,
just
I
looking
told
at this guy, I just the stare on him. You know, he was just freaking creepy just as it is.
yeah,
Just like, you know, you didn't need evidence. You could tell just by looking at this guy that he did something. He has that look, I did something. So unbelievable. And, you know, I feel
with just
bad, you
going
know, but
between those ears, you know.
yeah. But a lot of people, I don't know if I want people to know that, you know, when all the murders happened and everything was pretty much the crime scene was cleared and everything like that, and it came out of the police hands and FBI. There was like 130 people that worked on the case between police and FBI. But once everything was settled, the college actually bought the house, and 10 months after they bought it, it was destroyed. So there's no house anymore. That 1122 King Road no longer exists. It's just like a field now. There's a lot of remembrance of Flower Field for the students that lost their lives, scholarships and all that to give back. And, you try and pull good out of it. You try and remember everybody. You want to remember them in a positive light and all. And again, it's a tragedy. And again, how we deal with some of these serial killers, how their minds work and how they intertwine with us. We've said it before, even with killers, serial killers, 33 times in your life, you'll come into direct or indirect contact with them. And as we talk about this stuff, again, the red flags to look out for, the creepy guy or, not always going to be a murderer, but still, I think I need to stay away from this guy. I think I need to keep my eye out. I think I need to look both ways or front and back behind me. Unfortunately, we don't want to live that way, but if somebody gives you the creeps, then protect yourself.
Yeah, your body knows.
Yeah.
If you're feeling something, you need to trust your intuition, no doubt.
Exactly. And it's tough in a college atmosphere as we talk about these people like Ted Bundy, the other guy where they made the movie Scream about. They're all attacking college kids, and this guy, another college kids. College kids don't realize they're there to live their lives. They're there to have the college experience. I just think sometimes they're not as aware of what's going on.
I agree.
When we're young, we feel like we're invincible. We drink too much. We might try some drugs out. That's where a lot of our lives change. And they're just unaware. And a lot of them said Idaho, a lot of the interviews, Idaho is the safest. We never lock the doors. So people coming in and out, they're probably all going to lock the doors now. It always takes an incident for people to change their frame of mind. But I think, if I'm in college and all that, and there's a potential, but I would have had the doors locked, but that's just me. Even when I lived in a dorm, I never kept my door open, but that's just the way it is. And,
so next week, I've taken the liberty to grab this one. It's the first one that popped up.
Yeah.
And I think this is pretty intense. I think it would be a great show.
Yeah.
Albert Fish.
Ooh.
Okay. Right in there with old H.H. Holmes. This is him being executed. And there was an x-ray taken of his pelvis. And there's needles all in it. So I'm very curious as to what that means.
Oh, I know what it means. So we'll talk about it next week. I know all about Albert Fish.
All right. So as a special surprise, I wanted to point this out. Gwen's decided to go on a walkabout. This is her parent walkabout.
Who's the short shadow? Who's the short shadow there?
That would be me. That's what I'm doing right now. It kind of started last weekend, soft starting, and now it's here's the other one. Can I pop it up if you don't mind?
Of course.
This is the one we did not put our names on it first, but Bobby Resnick and myself are going from Wisconsin to wherever we are chosen. So if you are a team or if you're a person, you have a location, let us know. We'll try to work it out. Right now we're in the Chicago area, so
can't wait to see what you guys are going to do.
I'm excited.
Don't spoil it. Yeah.
No, I'm excited. I'm not saying anymore except we've started and I'm excited.
They were at Broadhead Manor and she went live on that one.
Nice.
Yeah, for a few minutes. Yeah, it was actually his birthday party there, but Broadhead loved it.
They investigated too. They just fell out. They were so tired.
We literally had people sitting down. Yeah, but you know what? It was for his birthday. It was a celebration. We love Broadhead. We did it during the Paranormal Rockdown, and I intend on going back, and I'm going to get you guys up there if at all possible, and I think you guys will love it. I just really
count on me for that.
Shout out to Bill.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bill who owns it. He is awesome. We love him. He actually did a favor today and drove in the storm 45 minutes to bring us something here. And
Nice.
I got to give it out to him. He is awesome. New friend, but yeah, those are some of the good ones.
It's good to get to know a lot of people at a lot of these locations. Just
Is that
again,
how you
people
spell
that,
it?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah,
It's
people that run,
BROADHEAD.
yeah, it is
Close
spelled
enough.
differently.
Okay,
Everybody
there's an
knows.
A. I thought it, that's why I was like, it bothers me not having the A, but I thought that's how it was spelled. I thought
It's
that was it.
That's what the way it's spelled. That's probably how the guy who started the manor is probably was the last name of somebody. But
well, it was
Like that?
actually a school.
Is that
Yes,
it?
it was actually a school. Yes, it is. Thank you. It was actually a school, and it is in the town of Broadhead, but it was actually a school.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to spoil it, but it has lots.
Yeah.
Lots.
I've heard a lot about Broadhead. I think it's been on a few episodes of other stuff, but
Yep.
yeah, I think again, it's good to get to know these people at these locations, people that run these, conferences and all that, as we all get to know each other, and we're meeting all these new people, and getting to know people that we've only met online, and it's bringing that circle together, and we know that circle is, of course, a bunch of us with Wardruna and stuff like that, but with a lot of these events coming up and all us getting together in a positive and just talking about these ideas, and then Gwen, meeting people because of shows like this and getting to meet people and going out on her own to, see where it's going to take her. We're all going in these directions, but again, yes, we're all going in these different directions.
So it is.
But our group is so together, and we stay together and we cheer each other on, which is a big thing. And just especially with the network, the All Access Network TV, we're all one voice pretty much, helping each other out, cheering for each other. Hopefully everybody does well. Same thing with Wardruna. We're all part of that too. And that push to help people heal ancestral traumas, things like that. We could really go into it, but I always encourage people to get involved and learn more about Wardruna and just what we do here on All Access Network TV. But another big thing, of course, Shaman and the Showman, Charles and I have some big events coming up.
Yes.
Beginning of September, the 5th and 6th, we're doing a public ghost hunt at a very haunted old house, which is a museum now. It's called the Glebe House, and they have the grounds with the garden. They call it the Gertrude Jekyll Garden, and there's a cemetery nearby that we're going to go to also. Going to have a special guest at the investigation, and I will announce that special guest will be my Wardruna partner in crime, Stacia Wills. So again, you'll have 2 shamans and a showman at this investigation. Make sure you join us. Starts with a dinner, then we do the investigation, and then the Saturday in the morning, the afternoon up until I think like 5, 6 o'clock, we'll be doing a psychic fair at the Bad Sons Brewery in Derby, Connecticut. So make sure you join us there to get your readings and all that. So it's our almost fall event, because usually we do a psychic fair 4 times a year and all that. So we have other things coming up, especially with Wardruna. Don't want to announce it yet, but talking about 4 seasons, we're going to be doing some really big stuff with Wardruna coming up, to the point where, all kinds of different things. We're going to take over every aspect that we can to get the message out. So we're very excited about that. All of us are involved. We always want to keep everybody involved. Again, just like the network here, just like Wardruna, we want everybody to have their own voice and be able to tell their story, and be able to let people tell their story, like on these podcasts or whatever type of media that we do to get it out there to help people heal. I really think the paranormal right now is taking a big turn towards that, and we're on that wave, and we want to have the best in the industry be able to distribute that message out. So, and that's why we're glad to be part of it. The network here, Wardruna, all of us together are making that push, and whatever we're all doing, whatever projects we have, whatever products we have, we just want everybody to know, and that's what we're trying to do. So,
awesome. Awesome. So a friendly reminder, don't forget to write the douchebag.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing Albert Fish next week.
Hashtag
right.
douchebag letter. So, yeah.
Yep. And hashtag can't get none.
Hashtag
There you
can't
go,
get
Blaine.
none.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Blaine.
Everybody, thank you for watching. Gwen, I'm
Yes.
going to close it out. I'm going to run a commercial real quick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you,
Gwen.
everybody. Thanks for
guys.
watching.
Bye.
Special announcement. Matthew and Leitreanna have something you have been waiting for. You asked for it and now you got it. Victorian Ghost Files, Between Heaven and Ectoplasm. Special thank you to Thomas Gormley for writing the foreword. Have you wondered about Victorian ghost hunting? It is time to find out. Next, the book, Haunted Objects, Possessions That Won't Die, is about cursed, creepy and dangerous artifacts that refuse to rest. Foreword by John Zaffis, The Haunted Collector. Both books now on Amazon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.